Hi, this is Jane with Jane Wayne Design, and I'm just going to go over a proposal for you for Splash and Dash Car Wash. Um, and here is the proposal that Stephanie and I discussed. It has three different options for you. Has one we're calling the Let's Do It, the Let's Outsource Your Commerce or e-commerce, and the Let's Start Conservatively. And the best way to go over these three options is really just to go over this far left column. And with this far left column, I'll just give you an explanation of what's there so that you can then see which items are excluded in order to get to this last one over here, which is just a more conservative option between these three. I'm also going to email this to Stephanie so you'll have access to it and can review it as I go over these items. So at the top we have a custom HTML responsive website, and the custom HTML part is the one, as Stephanie mentioned, she wanted to move away from the WordPress website, and I can see why you'd want to do that. A custom HTML website is not only visually going to allow us a lot more creative elements for development, but it's also going to allow us to have better ranking. So for Google and other browsers. So having a cleaner code, a more precise custom code allows us to take a better stand in your presence online. WordPress alternatively has a lot more code for the browsers to get through, and everything else being equal, your custom HTML static website will have a higher ranking. So that's our HTML static. The responsive part is this. I can give you an example. The Quickie Car Wash, for instance, it's a really cute website, but if we bring it down in size and someone's looking at it in their phone, for instance, it doesn't respond to this browser window size. This one does, however. And so if we bring this down in size, what you're going to want to watch for is this navigation bar. Watch how this image changes, and also these images down here. So as I go smaller, the browser window responds accordingly, and eventually what we get, let's say if this were an iPhone, is a navigation that changes and it looks something like this in this case, and then the images adjust accordingly. So that's a responsive website. Each one responds a little bit differently, but ideally we'd have something for you that allows for that change. The e-commerce development includes a shopping cart. We're effectively would be building this out for you in this first option, and it would include the recurring payment option and then up to 10 additional product items. And we'll try to make sure that those items and the flow of that are easy to navigate and not overwhelming for the customer. Your domain registration is included in this, in all of them, of course, and that's your www.splashandashcarwash.com. Your search engine optimization is one of the things that we think is one of the most important things, top two, if you will. Most important things. If you don't have a website that's visible to people, then it's just why have it? So of course most business owners are interested in getting that top placement on Google, getting on that first page, and that's our goal with search engine optimization. And we have a lot of customers that are interested in this, and we just work to make sure that they get that top placement. We work from a more conservative aspect. In other words, nothing is ever what's considered black hat or is anything that would get you punished by Google. There's a lot of search engine optimization people out there that might take some shortcuts, and we don't do that. We just make sure that we just do everything right at the beginning and watch and make sure that you get that ranking over time based on incremental changes for you. The lateral redirects are super important for a website like you that's being redesigned. And what that means is that these are the pages that Google has indexed for you. And what this means is that they've spited your website, and these are the ones that they've said, okay, this is what we've got out there, and this is what they're aware of, and the content that are on those pages. And what we don't want to do is abandon them. So what we'll do is redirect them to the new pages. Your home page will not change because it's still going to be splash-carwash.com, but these internal pages may change in name. And so we want to make sure that those don't become what's called 404s. So we'll take extra good care of those and go the extra mile and do what are called lateral redirects for you, so that we don't lose the standing that you have already, and then we can continue to grow from there. Your SEO Essentials program is something that we put all of our customers on that are included in maintaining and growing their presence on the internet. So what we do is we put you in our analytics. We install this, and it's going to look something like this when we look at you later on down the line. This is for a website called showhorse.co, and it tells us all these different aspects of what's going on with your website, and we monitor it and can tell over time whether or not we need to make updates and changes in different aspects of your website. So this tells us that the index page has so many viewers. It tells us how many unique page views, how long they're spending on the website, whether we have a high bounce rate. And these are all the aspects of tracking that Google will use in order to determine where you place in the world of keyword searches. So this is one aspect of this SEO installation. We also make sure that you have a sitemap installed and also are included in our webmaster tools. So all of those elements not only help us keep track of your website, but also send out indicators to other browsers that your website's being cared for and managed properly, and they will reward you with better placement across the board because of that installation. So this element here does make up a large part of your monthly charges, so we want to make sure that you're aware that these charges are not just your domain and hosting, but also this entry-level SEO program. And usually that's enough to get our customers the placement that they're seeking. If we need to do more, we can later on, but I think that this will probably be all you need to get the placement over time that you're seeking. Now, website hosting, of course, is just managing your files. Make sure that they're out there on the server, and that's a basic element that we manage on our end, actually on an ongoing basis. A domain-hosted email. We also like to offer clients the option, if you're not already using a Gmail account, it's a high-end account. It's a high-end email account that will also do a really good job with spam filtering. I like to make sure that customers have this great custom email signature with logo and web links. And an example of that would be if we have, for instance, this composed email, and it has a Janeway Design logo, and makes sure that people know where to find you both on your website and on the social media sites. So that's our custom signature and logo. We have also a favicon design, and that's just this little guy up here, and he's small, but it's pretty important for your overall professional look to make sure that you have a favicon that suits your brand. Next we have this online listing management. You're going to have 3 locations, so what we can do for you is make sure that your 3 locations are served properly for online listings, your Google Maps, White Pages, Yelp, and Super Pages, that you're represented well, that images can be included wherever possible, and that these 3 locations are managed in a way that does you justice. This is something that is very critical, especially for a business like yours, and we want to make sure that we support you in that placement. And then finally, we have the secure SSL and dedicated IP. This is just a required element for all e-commerce sites to have, so that you're secure and your customers are secure in credit card processing. So those are all the elements that are included in here. That's for our Let's Do It. And then if you want to do the Let's Outsource your commerce, you can do something like this here with Quickie, like Quickie Car Wash is done. And if I click on this here or hover on this and drop down to the Quickie Pass, you can see at the very, very bottom down in here what happens. And what's happening is they're sending you over to Website Connect. Now, the positive part about that is that this is an e-commerce, kind of an out-of-the-box e-commerce site where you pay them monthly, and they probably take a much larger chunk of your credit card processing fees. I wanted to present this option for you because Quickie Car Wash is using it. And traditionally, in my experience, people will use these options if they don't have access to a good development team, which you have with Janeway Design. Now, the negative, the most blatant negative for something like this is that once you send people away from your website, they're spending that much less time on your website. And what that does is it triggers the other browsers, Google and other browsers, that they came to your website and they left. So having a nice, solid website that includes your HTML static website and having the e-commerce all coded in one place gives you an advantage over websites that are sending people away. But I did want to give you the option in case this price tag here was more enticing for you. And then I also wanted to give you the option to start more conservatively, which gives us a website development and the things that we discussed, but maybe sends the e-commerce over to the other out-of-the-box option. And then if you wanted to handle your online listings in-house, those are something that, at the end of the day, you can, of course, manage these things yourself. So, and then you wouldn't need a secure SSL or dedicated IP address for this last option. So as a business owner, I'm always a fan of making sure that you nurture the business and do the best thing that you can. The internet, of course, is one of the most important things we can do to drive business to our business, drive people to our business these days. And so I'd like to make sure that people have every advantage in order to do that. So that's our first option, and the others are exactly as I've explained. So I really appreciate the opportunity to help you with your online presence, and just look forward to hearing back from you soon, since we have a deadline that's closing in pretty quickly. Thank you so much for your time.